What if the most important kind of intelligence has nothing to do with how much you know, but how well you understand yourself? We spend so much time in school sharpening our minds, sharpening our brains, but no one really taught us how to understand ourselves, how to process what we feel, and how to manage the feelings of people around us, or how to actually build relationships that hold up under pressure. But today we try to fix that and then we round up the whole season the right way. Welcome back to Real Talk Adulthood, the podcast where we have honest conversations nobody had with us while we were growing up. I'm Penny, and today we are on episode 6. We'll be talking about emotional intelligence. If you watched last episode, we spoke about our emotions, how to understand them, and how to relate with them better. And today we'll be wrapping it up with how to balance it all. Let's get into it. Emotional intelligence, or EQ, simply means the ability to understand, process, manage, and use emotions effectively. Not just your own emotions, but other people's emotions. That's the simple definition, but let's unpack what this looks like in real life. Psychologists describe emotional intelligence as having four key components. The first one is self-awareness. Self-awareness is simply knowing what you are feeling at the moment, being conscious, being aware that this is what you're feeling. Is it anger? Is it sadness? Is it excitement? Knowing what you're feeling, being honest with yourself about what you're feeling, and understanding how what you're feeling at the moment affects your decisions and your behaviors. That's what really being self-aware means. The second thing is self-management. Self-management means learning how to control your emotions without letting them control you. It doesn't mean you're suppressing them. It doesn't mean you're shoving them away. Yes, I know I'm angry, but learning how to contain that anger and not allowing the anger to get the best of me is self-management. The third one is social awareness. Social awareness is trying to understand what the people around you are feeling, even when they don't say anything directly, and then trying to show empathy. I feel so many people lack social awareness because some people can walk into a room where obviously someone is angry, there's tension in the room, and then you're bringing something to aggravate the situation. That's zero social awareness. Being socially aware means that you are observant of the emotions of the people around you, not just your own. The world does not revolve around just one person. We coexist, so we have to balance our own emotions and other people's emotions. Now, being socially aware means that you understand the emotions in the room, even when nobody is saying anything, and then you act accordingly. And the fourth component is relationship management. Now, relationship management means using your self awareness, your self management, and your social awareness to communicate or act accordingly without ruining any of the relationship. Research has actually shown that people with higher EQ have better quality of relationships. They're able to handle pressure better. They're able to hold it up together under pressure, and they are able to make better decisions. Now, your IQ might get you the best opportunities in life, but it is your EQ that will help you to manage those opportunities, because there are some opportunities that will come your way when you don't handle EQ very well. You ruin that opportunity, and just like that, you've lost it. The good news is that emotional intelligence is not fixed, it can be built. Now, I'll give a personal story about my own emotional management challenges before we get into how we can fix that. I will not say I've gotten to a place that I have fixed everything and I am 100% emotionally aware, but getting training, getting the understanding has helped me to consistently learn how to manage my emotions. And I grew up knowing myself as the person with the worst mood swings there has ever been. It's not like the mood swings have gone, but I've learned how to relate better. I can be very happy now, and milliseconds I'm sad or I'm angry. And to be honest, I didn't know how to manage them. I didn't know how to control them. And I didn't know how to act because honestly, nobody taught me. Nobody told me that, oh, you might have mood swings and then this is how you go about it. No, I have to navigate it on my own. Early stages of me being an adult, it really ruined a lot of friendships because I didn't know how to relate. When I start feeling an off mood from my normal, usual, or happy mood, it extends to the people around me. And then somehow I just feel like if I am not happy, you should be unhappy. And it doesn't make sense. Now that I have grown, I understand that the world does not revolve around me. And for the fact that I'm battling emotional mood swings doesn't mean that it has to rub off on other people or it has to affect other people. I watched myself lose so many good friendships only because I didn't know how to manage my emotions. I didn't know how to manage my mood swings. I still get the worst and the most terrible mood swings, but I've learned, I've grown, and I would like to say I actually do better because I could be with a group of people now and they might not even notice that there's been a change in my mood or there's been a change in anything. I try well to understand that, oh, I'm not feeling so great, but it has nothing to do with the other person and it doesn't have to affect how the other person feels or relates with me. I should be able to be calm, I should be able to be polite, I should be able to be kind even when I'm not in the mood, even when I want to be left alone and people want to like talk. I should be able to go beyond that my being left alone mood to actually socialize. Only people who are very, 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 very close to me can actually now pick the slight change in my mood. But it was not like that few years ago. Few years ago, if I was going through any emotional change, everybody will know because it's going to show up in the way I'll respond to you, in the way I'll react, in the way I'll do things towards you. And honestly, that was not a great thing because everybody has what they are dealing with. Everybody has their own emotions, and allowing my own emotions ruin other people's mood was never the best thing to do. Now, these are a few things that I feel would help to build emotional intelligence. First one is pause before you act. The gap between stimulus and response is where EQ lies. Before you respond to any strong emotion like anger, ask yourself, what am I really feeling? How are my actions going to affect the people in this room? And what is the wisest way to go about it? Personally, if I am too angry that I know communicating my real things, I try to take a break. I distance myself from that particular environment. I take deep breaths, and there are certain people in my life that when I am very angry, I can call and talk to, and they make me see how trivial that situation is, and immediately it calms me down. I ask myself, like, why am I even angry in the first place? The second thing is get curious of your triggers. There are some certain things that can just take us off at any instance. Instead of letting our triggers run the show, we can get curious about them, like, why does this thing hit the right nerve? What does it remind me of? How can I understand it? And what can I do better in order to be in control of the situation rather than allowing my triggers be in control of that situation? Three is practice empathy deliberately. When someone around you is struggling, try to give them listening ears, like try to listen and just sit with them in that moment. Don't try to fix the problems or find solutions for them. I grew up in a kind of environment that I've met people that when you say, oh, you're struggling with this, when you're trying to tell them what's going on with you, they tell you, your own is even small, and they start bringing what they are also dealing with. Fact, everybody is dealing with one thing or the other. Telling the person how their situation is not up to yours, or how subtle what they are going through is, or how trivial what they are going through is not wise when it comes to emotional management. That is not how you empathize. Empathy means sharing what that person is going through. Even if you don't have to say anything, you don't have to have the solution. Just giving the person listening ears actually helps the person feel better. Number four is reflect on your emotional patterns. We all have emotional patterns. That's where being self aware comes in. Ask yourself, how are you really feeling? What's really going on? How are you processing it? How are these feelings going to affect your behaviors, your decisions, your choice of words? And then It helps you to figure out a way to control the situation without allowing your emotions get the best of that situation. Also ask yourself, what is the emotion in the room giving? There are some places that you go to and they give off this vibe of I want to be alone or do not disturb. Emotional intelligence tells you that this is not the right time to say anything. Even if you had something you really needed to say, this is the time where you apply emotional intelligence and give it time, give it space. Come back when the mood is lighter, when the mood is open and receptive to receiving ideas or to receiving communication or socializing. Number five is if you want to grow genuine emotional intelligence, you need honest feedbacks so that you can grow, so that you can do better. Ask people around you that really know you, that are not scared to call you out on your flaws, that are not scared to call you out on your BS and tell you the truth. Oh, this is how you did, this is how you did. People that are not scared of correcting you so you can be better. Every relationship in your life, whether it's an emotional relationship between a spouse, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, casual friends, co-workers, every relationship in your life is only as healthy as the emotional intelligence you bring to it. I want you to really hear that. Most relationship conflicts aren't really about what they seem to be about. They are mostly about unmet emotional needs. One person is feeling unseen, one person is feeling unheard, one person is feeling like their emotions are not relevant to the other person. When two people who haven't done their emotional work come together, whether in family, in romantic relationships or work, those unmet needs collide and things get messy very fast. Emotionally intelligent relationships look different. They require you to say what you actually feel rather than expecting the other person to read your mind. Nobody has the power to read minds. They require you to take responsibility for your actions rather than making it about the other person. It requires you to take ownership without saying, oh, it's because you did this. Yes, sometimes other people's actions can be the trigger to our reactions, but when we react badly, we should be able to take ownership of our reactions because we also had the choice to react in a good way. They require you to hear hard truths without shutting down or being on the attacking or defensive mode because to be honest, the truth can be hard to hear sometimes. Emotional intelligent relationships require repair. They require the willingness to come back and work things through even after difficult conversations and situations. None of that is actually easy, but there's one thing you can try today. Next time you're in conflict with someone you really care about, before you defend yourself, before you explain your own side of the story, why you acted the way you did or how you feel, try to ask them one question. Ask them, what are you actually feeling now? How do you feel about this whole conflict? Try to ask sincerely and genuinely give them the chance to explain their own side, how they feel without interrupting. Ask one question, sincerely ask, and change the direction of that conversation. With that, we've come to the end of season one of Real Talk Adulthood. And in the course of this season, we've talked about how nobody prepared us for adulthood. We've talked about our spiritual life, our physical life, emotional life. So let me close with a question this season has been building towards. How do we find a balance? To be honest, the first time I heard balance, I felt like finding a balance is a destination that you arrive at. You just stay there. Oh, now I'm balanced. I have everything going well emotionally, physically, spiritually, and I'm just good. I'm at equilibrium. But reality is actually different. Balance is not something you do at once. Balance is actually not a destination you get to and then you stay there because so many changes, so many adjustments can happen in different aspects of our lives at different times that we don't even expect. What you can do is pay attention to the signals that they are sending you and try to do something about it. Now, if your body is feeling tired, you're feeling weak, you're feeling exhausted, that is your cue to do something about it. You need to drink water, you need to rest, or you probably need a checkup. That's how you balance it. As you go to work, as you go to church, you find time to actually give your body that attention. Find time to rest, find time to drink water. Now, if your spirit is feeling empty, you're feeling far from God, it's probably because you've neglected your spiritual life. That is your cue to try to reconnect. Now, there's something I also learned concerning balance. Now, balance has something to do with doing the right thing at the right time in the right way too. You're supposed to be at work and you go to church, you're doing the right thing at the wrong time, and it's going to affect your balance because your work is suffering. You're supposed to be at work and then you're in church. You're doing something that is good for you, but at the wrong time. God loves us, and one thing I've gotten to understand, especially in my Christian faith, is that you can worship God anywhere. You can worship God doing anything. In fact, as I'm creating this video, I can actually be praying to God in my heart and He will listen. As I am working, as I am doing my day-to-day duties, I can actually pray to God and He will listen. God is not concerned or specific about where you go to worship any longer. He's more concerned about the heart. Now, on weekends when you don't have work and then you go to church, that's totally okay. Now, for those in an emotional relationship or for those that actually have spouses or partners, if you're always working and then you don't have time to give emotional attention to that relationship is going to suffer. And at some point, you might actually lose it. And if you're focusing so much on your relationship that you are not working, you might go broke. You will not have money because you're giving all your time to a relationship instead of learning how to balance. When it's time to work, you go to work. There's a way you can check out or reach out to your spouse when you're at work. That's also balance. When you get to work, a simple hey, I just got to work, hey, I'm busy, is reaching out, is checking out, is making the other person informed that, oh, I'm actually busy, I actually have money to make, I actually have things to do, but you are on my mind. That's what balance really looks like. You don't have to have everything figured out. To be honest, I don't even think anybody really has everything figured out. You just have to check in with yourself, honest with yourself, adjust as necessary or as it is required for you. Ask for help when you need help. There was a time I once told a colleague that I've gotten to a stage in my life that I'm not afraid to ask for help. If I feel like I need help and I feel like this person can help me, I'll try my best to ask. The highest you will say is no. And when you say no, I would find another way to get help since I am already willing, since I've already brought down my ego or lower myself down to understand and accept that I really need help. I'm going to get the help that I need. Also, give yourself grace when things falls out of balance because to be honest, every now and then finding balance or learning balance is one of the most difficult things to do. With this, we've come to the end of season 1. We've had 6 episodes, 6 different conversations nobody had with us while we were growing up. Thank you so much for being with me, for following through, for watching, for liking, for sharing, for subscribing. Thank you for joining me on season 1. If any of these episodes meant something to you, don't forget to share, don't forget to comment. I'm also here to learn from your experience as much as I am sharing mine. Don't forget to share this podcast. You never know who might need to hear it. But we are not done yet. We are going into season 2 and we are going to have even deeper conversations about adult life. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe, turn on your notification bell so that you won't miss it when it drops. Until then, keep showing up for yourself, keep asking the hard questions, keep growing. You are doing better than you think. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all in the next season.